Hello, everyone. Welcome to the return of Gary's podcast, which, according to Elon Musk, is America's most listened podcast. You're welcome, Elon. But at the same time, I'm sure you guys are listening to this podcast. But anywho, we're not here to talk about Elon or Trump. I'm your host, Gary Saldivar, and we're here inside Lacerary in this beautiful school, Pasadena City College, on this cloudy, rainy, even though according to forecasters, the hard rain will come tomorrow. So be prepared. LA, especially stay dry, which at the same time we need this much needed rain, especially with the fires that have it back in January and Pasadena and PCs, and at the same time I'm having my home and where I live in Downey-Bell Gardens is safe, especially the fires that came where I live. But also, anywho, today I have a guest, and she works in a library in PCC, and she's a hardworking woman, and she's the best. And overall, at the same time, she's making history in the middle of Women's History Month. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest. Hopefully I get her last name correct. Danielle Rapue. Danielle, welcome to Gary's podcast.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Danielle Rapue.
Rapue.
No worries about the last name. It happens to me all the time. No worries at all. I'm a PCC librarian, as you shared. I've been at Pasadena City College since 2017.
Sure, you've been here for a long time.
Yes, and it's an honor to be here on Women's History Month. Thank you for having me.
You're representing the women, especially in my podcast, History to Making. Okay. And today I have topics and questions for Danielle. And at the same time, in case Danielle gets too sweaty during the podcast, she can drink the water in the middle of my podcast. All right, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Danielle. And are you ready for the questions in the podcast? Topics, sorry.
Yes, I am ready for your questions or topics you want to bring up.
All right, here we go. Topic 1, your journey started in PCC. And my first question to you is, how you got the job in a library in PCC?
So back in 2016, I went to a library conference and I met the dean of the library here at PCC at the time. Her name is Dr. Leslie Terapelli, and we connected there, and she let me know she had a full-time position coming up as a librarian the following, I think that same year, maybe in a few months after we met, and she strongly encouraged me to apply. It was a big change for me because I'm not from the Southern California area, right. But I really considered it, and after hearing about PCC's reputation and being curious about making a change in my life, I, put in my application, went through the interview process, which for a full-time faculty position here at PCC, when I was hired, 3 interviews, so 3 levels of interviews, including one with the president of the college. And then I was offered the position, which I gladly accepted. And I've been here about 8 years now.
Wow. So the thing is, I've been here since 2015. Especially, I think I told you, and I apologize for repeating, was 2015, that's where I left William Harmon College. And then I transferred here at PCC. And this is my 10th year here at PCC, which overall I'm happy where I'm at, especially my dream school. And how was the interview process, if I don't mind asking?
Sure. So my schooling process or what? So I went to college for journalism. I had a bachelor's degree in journalism and public relations. And I then went to a master's program for library science at San Jose State University. And when I finished up there, I started working at community colleges where I'm from. And I was able to get some part-time jobs working in the library just to kind of build up my experience. And at the same time, just looking to see what area of libraries I might specialize in, because most librarians, while they all have kind of shared roles and responsibilities, they have specialties sometimes. And so I was trying to consider what would be my specialty or what I would really focus on. And so that time frame was just really doing webinars and conferences to just kind of get my foot in the door and figure out and explore what would be a good path for me.
So you're from San Antonio?
I'm actually from the Fresno area, so the Central California area. Shout out 559 if
Shout out to Fresno. I thought you said Bakersfield.
Yes. Yeah, so Bakersfield is heading towards that area, but a little bit more north, about a couple hours north of Bakersfield is Fresno area.
Nice. I've been to Bakersfield. I mean, tongue twister. I've been to Bakersfield 6 times, and I gotta say it's a beautiful city. But except the thing is with customers, sometimes it gets too hot.
It is very hot there, yes.
Especially one time when I went there like for a car for my dad. It was like 130 degrees. I'm like, man, it's too hot here. I want to go back to LA. It's smoking and toasting here in Bakersfield.
Oh yeah, you will get cooked out in the summertime in the Central Valley, Bakersfield, Fresno. A common summer day is over 100 degrees.
I gotta say, since summer is much away, stay hydrated, Bakersfield. And now my second question is, tell us what you do in the library.
Sure. So at PCC Library, I am the outreach librarian. So I connect with different areas on campus to make sure that the students who use those areas of campus know about the library services. Sometimes we have events on campus out in the quad, so you'll see different tables set up and different resources will table to let students know about the services, and I coordinate that. So when we have different events on campus, I try to attend them and represent the library. We play games, I have giveaways from the library, I give information to folks to let them know about some of our resources that people may not know about that the library has for them. And then I also teach. So here at PCC, all of our librarians, we teach classes. We're kind of like guest lecturers. So the class that you might already be enrolled in, let's say you're in a history class and there's a research paper coming up. So the history professor will coordinate with the library to bring the class over to the library, and the librarian will provide kind of like a guest lecture. We'll give instruction for that class period to teach students how to do research, how to responsibly use information like citation, and answer kind of any types of questions that they have, as well as orient them to the library services. So my main goal for all of the work that I do is making sure that students know that the librarians are available to them and that we're here to support them.
That's good. And that's how I first made it in the bench and the quad here at PCC.
That's right. We met out at the quad.
And I'm lucky to have you as my friend. And now that brings in my third question. What is like working in a library, especially with Lena?
Yes, my colleague Lena. Shout out Lena if you're
Shout
listening.
Out to Lena.
Shout out to Lena. She is a wonderful PCC librarian who's also been there at least, I think, 9 years now, going on 9 years. She's amazing, a wonderful colleague to work with. And her and I actually have collaborated together on some of those outreach events where we've attended different spaces on campus to share different resources about the library. So it's really great to be able to work with her. In terms of what it's like to work at the library, it's exciting to work at the library. There's always something new every day. No day is the same as the previous day. There's always something different happening. There's always different students in the building that have different questions. Another part of my role is the reference desk where I see you in the library sometimes. And we help answer research questions. So students will come up they don't have to have an appointment. They just show up to the desk and they ask for help with their research or their citations. And so I always get different research questions or different topics that students are researching, which is exciting because I learn new information all the time right alongside students on the topics that they're researching and teaching them how they can do research in the future as well. The library can be a loud place, whereas some people think the library is a quiet space. We have, of course, our silent floor on the 3rd floor, but the rest of the library is a collaborative space where students are connecting with each other, they're chatting, they're enjoying the space. So it definitely can be a lively environment, and I really enjoy it.
I'm glad you enjoy it, Danielle. Especially every time I see you in the library, it seems like you really have fun together, especially building that good chemistry.
Thank you. I think we definitely lean on each other for laughs, of course,
Right.
but for support because, there's different things that we do handle in the library that can be challenging at times. And so she's a wonderful colleague that has been very supportive throughout the time I've been at PCC.
And shout out to you and being holding down in the library, especially cracking up jokes with you.
Yes.
And now it's time for the second topic. Are you ready for the second topic, Danielle?
Let's move on.
It's time for Danielle's New York job. And question number 4 for you, Danielle. How you balance with your job in a Big Apple, New York, of course, the city that never sleeps, and the library in PCC?
Yeah, so I shared with you, David, earlier that not only do I work at PCC, but I also have a part-time job at Syracuse University. I teach in their graduate program. So students who are looking to become librarians themselves are taking classes there. And I teach a graduate class about reference services. We were just actually talking about reference
Right.
services where students are, asking for help with their research. So it is a lot to balance sometimes when you have 2 different careers, but one thing that really helps is 2 different time zones, right? So I am able to coordinate my work where I can do both completely separate from the other and they don't have overlapping time. I also teach remotely because I'm not in New York physically. And so that really allows me some good flexibility to be able to teach my class from home, to be able to email students, when I'm not working. I'm able to connect with my students at Syracuse, but then when I'm here, it's kind of like trading hats, right?
Right,
I'm wearing
right.
my PCC hat today, but tomorrow or
Syracuse.
another day I might be wearing my Syracuse hat at night, right? When I'm off from here and working on that job. And I really try to give my best attention to both. And I think one way I really tried to balance is by making lists. So every day I make a list of all the things I need to accomplish and I try to prioritize it. And there's something very satisfying about being able to mark something off or check off that I finished something. And I try to make that list every day. And that is a list for my whole life. So it's not just my work. It might be maybe I have an appointment after work or I have to go pick something up or do an errand. And it just really helps me keep all of the different working parts of my life, not just my career, but, the rest of my life too, in balance to make sure I'm getting everything I have done. And then that way at the end of the day, I can relax knowing I checked off everything. Or sometimes things don't get checked off and they move on to the next day. And that's okay too. But at least it helps me stay organized.
That's good. So you have your schedule set up and like from morning to night, and especially your job here as a library PCC, and at the same time, I'm assuming that makes you become a Syracuse and New York sports fan.
I have heard that there are some good sports teams at Syracuse, but I'm not so familiar with it. I heard the basketball team's great.
They are.
I need to maybe spend more time paying attention to what they're doing over there. But being online and not being able to attend a game in person, maybe I can catch one on TV if they
Right.
put them on the broadcast.
Like during the month, because this week.
Oh, March Madness,
Yeah,
right?
March Madness.
That's right. Okay, maybe I'll catch somebody or the Syracuse team at March Madness.
Danielle should be like watching Syracuse on March Madness on her phone, like, okay, all right, I'll make sure no one's looking. All right, yes, Syracuse winning.
Oh, I wouldn't be a good librarian if I was on my phone while
Right.
I'm supposed to be serving students at the reference desk or maybe even during teaching a class. So I'll try and save that when I'm off.
No, don't do it.
Okay.
Or just watch the highlights on YouTube.
Okay.
And at the same time, I'm assuming you're a Knicks, Yankees, and let's see, Giants and Jets fan.
I wouldn't say New York Giants. I am a San Francisco Giants fan. So I do
no.
like
Dodger fans, turn away. Don't see, even James, my producer, James Pastor, who's producing my podcast, he's a diehard Dodger fans. Dodger fans,
I'm sorry to all the Dodger fans that I've offended, but as a
That's
Central
all right.
Valley native, the local team there, they would have players that would like rehab or they would be sent back to the minor league.
Right.
And that would be in Fresno. So I watched a lot of players that were up and coming by going to the games. There were Fresno Grizzlies. So I would watch them when they would come out there. So that's kind of where my alliance with the Giants is. But I do love a good Dodgers game. I do like the Dodgers also.
You hear that, Dodger fans? Danielle got love for you, right?
Yes. I actually used to live very close to the Dodger Stadium. And so the socialization of going to a game and hanging out and just being in community with other Dodger fans, even if I'm not that's not my number one team, I would still consider myself a Dodgers fan. Also, it's a great time. The Dodgers, I think, have a diehard fanship, and there's something to be said about how much community they build amongst Los Angeles.
Right. It's basically just won the World Series over.
Yes.
I hate to bring some Yankees fans over my Yankees, okay? All right, Yankees fans, don't.
Sorry, Yankees.
That's all right. Yankees fans, don't watch this part of the podcast, all right? Just pretend not to have it. And at the same time, bad news for the Yankees. Garrett Cole out for the season. And also injuries, which is frustrating as a Yankees fan. But at the same time, Yankees fans, I'll say one quick thing. Our only hope is Aaron Judge, all right? Aaron Judge will save the Yankees. If he got second injury, else the season is over and was. So hopefully it doesn't go that path. But pray for the Yankees this season. Anywho, all right, enough of Yankee talk. What was that? All right, question number 5. Which school you prefer, the food in New York or LA?
Well, though I teach in New York, I have never had the chance to travel to New York myself. But I love pizza, so I imagine I probably would love New York pizza if I ever get to try it. But I would say LA for sure, because if I had one last meal to have, it would definitely be Mexican food, which where can you get the best Mexican food?
Right.
LA.
LA, 100%.
100% LA. So I'm going to go with LA on that one.
Nice. Me too. I also agree with you that LA has the best food. Sorry, New York. I know. We're throwing you, especially Yankees and the food, New York. It's okay, New Yorkers, all right? We still love New York, especially at the same time. I love how New York showed LA love, where when the fires happened, especially people were affected. I love that part. And by the way, one more thing. I forget what I was going to say. I think it was the Yankees. Anywho, question 6: What led you to become a professor?
I have always wanted to do something with teaching. Actually, I found a schoolwork assignment that I had from when I was in 5th grade. So when I was 11, they asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up, and we had to draw a picture. And I drew myself and put that I wanted to be a university or college professor. So even at the early age of 11, when I had no idea even what the university professors do, I thought I wanted to be one. So that was probably like the first inkling of something happening there. But realistically, later after I pursued my library career, I had been provided the opportunity to teach a class very quickly after getting my job here at PCC. So I went right into teaching Lib 1, which is Library 1 College Research Skills, and it's a 1-unit class that prepares students to be able to do college-level research. And that was my first class I've taught, and been teaching it on and off since then for about maybe 6 or 7 years now. And I really enjoy being able to create my own curriculum, create what lessons I'm going to teach the students. I can come up with the examples I want to come up with, and I love the opportunity to connect with students in a different way. So when I see students like yourself in the library, I may just see you every now and then or in passing. There's no kind of guarantee of the next time I might see a certain student, but when they're your student in the class that you're teaching, you can really be more intentional about the relationship you're able to build with the student and offer mentorship, or be able to connect with the student for even after they're not in your class anymore, to encourage them to connect with you if maybe they need a letter of recommendation for a future job or scholarship opportunity. So that's really nice to be able to, like I said, establish that relationship with certain students that are interested in it and really go beyond the scope of, teaching students and giving them a grade. It really allows me to have a more solid bond.
I'm glad that you had that good bond, especially for schools, especially every time when I pass in the library, especially whenever I talk to you, I see that you had that good balance with the students, especially the help that getting in the books to check out. And at the same time, I think I told you once, but maybe someday I want to take your class, which it seems like your class is fun.
Thank you. I hope it's fun for the students too. I do try and make it relevant and interesting to what students may be interested in researching. So, for instance, when they enter the class, they pick a research topic that they're going to use for the whole 6 weeks. So they spend most of their time researching that topic. So that's one example of how we try and keep it interesting is the students are allowed to pick that topic and come up with it on their own instead of me telling them you're going to be researching this or that.
Right. All right, now, question number 8. Danielle, are you ready for this question?
I'm bracing myself. I think this one might be a little
brace yourself.
different.
I think this is the biggest question I ever asked in the history of this podcast.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Here we go. What are you good at, and what's one thing you're not good at? Danielle giving her thoughts.
I am thinking my thoughts. So one thing I think I am good at is being approachable, which is a skill that's really important to being a librarian because people are asking for your help, and that comes from some level of vulnerability. It can be really nerve-wracking or cause someone anxiety to approach a stranger and ask for help. Even if you know that that person's designated to offer you help and support, it still can make the most seasoned adult feel nervous, right? And I think that having the ability to appear approachable and for people to feel comfortable approaching me with their questions has been really valuable to my career. And I really try to foster that by making eye contact with students and offering a smile or a wave, or, just even acknowledging students that might be walking by but not necessarily approaching the desk. And really ensuring that when students do come to me, I'm giving them my full attention because it's not just the student right in front of me that gets that experience. Oftentimes, there's other students who are close by that will see me at the reference desk helping someone. And I can think of multiple times where somebody who was just sitting nearby, after they saw me help somebody and that person has left, they then will come to the desk and ask for help.
Wow.
So I think that they knew all along maybe they wanted help, but they were trying to kind of scope it out, like how safe is it to ask this person for help? And then once they kind of got a vibe for how they might be helped,
right,
they were comfortable coming up to me. So I would say that's what I'm good at. Something I'm not good at. And I need to be humble and say that there's definitely things I'm not good at. I think everyone has something they don't fully excel at. If you put me in a room with a calculus book, probably wouldn't be so good with that. Math was not my strongest point in college. I was really thankful to pass the classes I needed in math, but I did struggle with it. And something that I did when I struggled with math that really helped me out, and I would recommend to any student listening, is I went ahead and took advantage of the tutoring that was available on campus. So like here on this campus, we have something really similar where we have the D300 Success Center.
Right.
We have the Math Success Center. There's a STEM Success Center. I would go to the Math Center as often as I could, almost every day after class if I didn't have work after class, and I would have help on my homework. I would go to office hours to my math professor and visit them at their office to ask questions. And so without those two resources, I can't say that I successfully would have passed math. So definitely not great at math, but I think with anything that we're not good at, there are strategies to improve your likelihood to be successful.
Right. Well, you're not alone, Daniel, because while I was in Montgomery High School, shout out to the Warriors.
Go Warriors.
No, Warriors.
Is that what you said?
No, I said go Warriors.
Oh, Warriors. Excuse me.
Warriors.
Sorry.
No, Danielle, I was
I thought you were talking
Warriors.
about Sacramento's
Yeah,
basketball
Sacramento.
team now.
Wait, you want shout the Warriors? You can shout Steph Curry you want.
Okay. No. I don't want no beef.
No beef. This podcast, we want no beef.
No beef.
What I'm trying to say is go Warriors, the football team. I hope someday can beat Sir High School, which they never beat them when I was there. And at the same time, I'm also not good at math because when I was in my Markville High School, I could go to a private school, which is no longer called a Calcutta Center, where it was in West LA. And I said this in my documentary when I spoke to my girl Dawn, who was in Lars here at PCC. I told her I had great people that helped me, like their names are Rochelle, shouts to Rochelle from San Diego, and Teresa and Kelly, and they helped me a lot to improve my education. Again, at the same time, it's no longer there. It's now CPLA, the same street, Olympic Shocktown in West LA. Anywho, again, I almost passed the Casey exam by 1 point of the map, 2 points by the Eagles. I was so close. During the cases instance, I passed both sets, but at the same time, I'm not good at math. Also, I'm not good at golf, so I'm terrible at golf. Which by the way, hopefully Tiger Woods recovers well. Especially yesterday, he announced that he tore his Achilles and he underwent surgery in Florida. And Tiger get well soon, and I hope you'll be back stronger wherever you recover. And that's the only things I'm not good at. Not good at math, and I'm not good at golf. That's my confession.
I think I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think I'd be good at golf either. Although I did hit a hole-in-one in mini golf one time, so there's that.
Is there video out there or no video?
There is no video because this was pre-cell phone video. This was probably in the mid-90s. I think I was like maybe, like 7, 6. I was really young. And I remember it was the last hole. So I won some prize. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I got some prize that I guess you get only for hitting a hole-in-one for that one.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, now question number 9. Speaking of sports, did you play sports before PCC and your job?
Yeah, so when I was in college, I attended a community college, and part of the transfer at that time, and maybe it still is, I'm not sure, you're required to take a sport. So I chose to take tennis. So I took tennis for about a year when I was in college.
Nice. And were you good in tennis?
No.
That's another
I had fun, but I wasn't good at it. And I still every now and then will play what I wouldn't even consider tennis, just more of a volley of hitting the ball back and forth. But I wouldn't say that I was a tennis star by any means.
Oh, well, you were against Serena Williams.
Yeah, definitely no Serena Williams over here.
All right, now the last question. Number 10, what you love about PCC?
I love the community at PCC and the ways that we come together when it's needed or there's crisis, especially like you mentioned earlier, talking about the wildfires. And I think that PCC's response and leadership in the community to being there for people who some lost everything. Others may have not lost their homes, but were absolutely traumatized by what happened. I think is really powerful of PCC to be able to provide that they didn't stand still and be passive. They were very proactive. I love the events that happen at PCC. I think one of the perks of having this job is in outreach, of course, I'm expected to make connections on campus, and I need to get to know people who work in different resource centers or have different clubs or different student groups. And part of doing that is going to their events. And I love showing up to see student performances. I love going to the theater productions that we have on campus. I'd really like to attend more sports events. If I can make it, I've been to some, but I'd like to go more often. We actually recently had our PCC football team here in the library. The whole team came, about 80 players total. Monday, this past Monday. So it was really cool to have the players in the library where I was able to share like different services about the library. But I'd love to go to one of their games. That would be amazing.
Me too.
Yeah, there's just so many cool events that happen at PCC. They bring renowned speakers, distinguished speakers, authors, artists, and I think the community enrichment is really good at this college. And I've worked at other community colleges, and I can say that the volume that's being done here isn't always the same as what I've seen in other places.
I 100% agree with you, Danielle, because when I was at Real Hango, I get to see those events, and that's why I chose PCC, because PCC can have great events, PCC can come together, like you said, the wildfires, and as well, I love how PCC bring everyone together, especially the events that they always have like almost every month. And do you have is there any events that you want to announce here on Gary's podcast or PCC?
I'm so glad that you've given me that opportunity, because there is something I would love to share, and it's hot off the presses.
Call this exclusive.
Yes, call this an exclusive. It was just actually announced on the library's website yesterday. The library is hosting a competition that opened yesterday, and it is to design a bookmark for the library, and I hear there will be prizes for the winners, and it is open to both students. There's a student category to win, and there's also a staff or faculty category.
Wow.
If anyone is interested, you can stop by the library circulation desk to get an entry form, and the entry form will have the format. I'll show those who are here from the video. It has a format for the bookmark, so that way you have the right size and dimensions, and then all of the entry guidelines, as well as contact information that you would submit. And the deadline to enter the contest is going to be April 1st, so it's coming up kind of soon. We have a couple weeks till then. So today's the 12th as we're recording. So they are due by the 1st if anyone is interested in participating in our bookmark contest. The first one I've seen since I've been here in the last 8 years. So we're really excited to do this. And this is in connection with National Library Week that'll be coming up in April. So our hopes with the winners is that we will be producing the bookmarks and getting them printed so that we can give them away.
I would love to attend the library. I'm not gonna say the library workshop.
You know, it's funny you say a workshop, because it is a contest and people can take the entry with them to complete it wherever they'd like. But I think it might be fun to actually maybe do an event connected with this, where maybe we put out some tables, bring out some art supplies, and encourage people to attend the event so they can make their bookmarks. So if we do something like that, maybe you want to stop by.
Oh, I will.
Awesome. Yeah, you can make a bookmark and put in your entry. You never know. I'm not sure how many winners there are in every category, so there should be at least one student and at least one faculty, but I think there might be more than one chosen. But that would be so awesome if you could or were interested in making your own bookmark.
I would love to. Well, I never made my own bookmark, but I would love to make my own bookmark. Perhaps maybe you or Lena could help me with that.
Yeah, if we do something where we're kind of doing it as a community with the art supplies, yeah, definitely. That would be amazing.
Okay, you're having folks exclusively here on Gary's podcast. Because on the third episode, my friend Marcus, he dropped 2 exclusives. Oh. And then at the same time, he cursed the Lakers. With Lakers fans, I apologize for Marcus cursing the Lakers like a Drake curse. Anywho, Danielle, this was a lot of fun and a blast.
Yes, it was.
Well, we can see it. This was a fun and blast, and especially I want to thank you for joining me as my guest, especially in the middle of Women's History Month, as the first woman as my guest on my podcast, and this was a blast. It
was an absolute blast, and thank you for letting me be the first woman on your podcast. I am honored, David, and it's been a pleasure.
There's the claps. As always, major shout out to my boss, James Proctor, for producing my podcast. James, you did an excellent job. And at the same time, all right, everyone, that was good for Gary's podcast, episode 4, season 2, and take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.